gingerly with a damp cloth. Dazed, David tried to sit up. Searing pain shot up his left arm and through his body. He remembered the cracking of bone and the lion's teeth buried deep in his arm. Then, all the other details of the attack came flooding back to him. Shocked, he realized he'd survived. But what about Mebalwe? Had he survived? David grasped Roger Edwards's arm with his right hand and asked about his helper. "Yes, he's alive," Edwards assured him. "He has deep wounds on his leg from the teeth. But I don't think anything is broken." Relieved, David slumped back down onto his back. At least no one had died trying to save him. And although most people attacked by lions in the wild were killed, somehow he had survived. It was all such a long way from Scotland, where the wildest animals he had encountered were the sheep that grazed on the hillside around the town of Blantyre, where he had grown up. If the people back there could see him now. Chapter 2. Different from Everyone Else. 12-year-old David Livingstone held his breath as he waited for his father to answer. "So, you want to go out into the hills?" asked Mr. Livingstone, stroking his beard. "Let me see now. What was your memory verse from Sunday school this morning, David?"
"Matthew chapter 4, verse 4. It is written, 'Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God,'" replied David confidently.
"Very good, son," said his father, patting David's light brown hair. Then, turning to Grandpa Livingstone, who was propped in a straight-backed wooden chair in the corner of the dimly lit room, he added, "Of course, that's an easy verse for David. He could recite the whole of Psalm 119 when he was 9. He won a new Bible for his effort." David felt himself blushing. His father never complimented him directly or told him he was proud of his son. But he did like to tell other people about David's accomplishments.
"Can we go, Dad? Please?"
begged Charles, David's younger brother.
"A little fresh air can't hurt the boys on the Lord's Day," interjected Grandpa Livingstone,
who lived in a room 2 floors below.
"After all, the lads are cooped up from dawn to dusk every day. A laddie needs to get out in the open and smell the heather. When I was a lad, I lived my whole life in the open air. I can still shut my eyes and see the black rocks of the Isle of Ulva and smell the peat fires we lit to keep us warm on those nights when we had the sheep up in the high pastures to graze."
David looked urgently at his father. If his grandfather got started on stories from his childhood in the Scottish Highlands, there was no telling how long David and his 2 brothers would be stuck inside. Thankfully, David's father seemed to understand the predicament.
"I'll put on a pot of new tea that just arrived from China, and we'll sit and talk a spell while the boys run out to play," he said.
Then, turning to John, David's older brother by 2 years, he added,
"Be back before dark, and mind your manners if you meet anyone along the way."
"We will, Father,"
the 3 boys chorused as they rushed out the door. As David ran along the cobblestone road that led from the town of Blantyre into the surrounding countryside, he could feel the book bumping against the side of his leg. The reminder of what lay ahead made him run faster. Finally, completely out of breath, the 3 brothers flopped down in their favorite spot, a lush, grassy plateau located on the side of a hill about 300 feet above the town. Below, the boys could see Blantyre and its rows of crumbling brick apartment houses. They could also see the Clyde River as it snaked its way through the town. And since it was such a clear day, the city of Glasgow was visible 8 miles off in the distance.
"Look, I can see Shuttle Row. Which one is our room?"
asked Charles, plunking himself down beside David.
"Our room is on the other side of the mill,"
replied David, looking at the gloomy row of brick tenements that flanked the huge cotton mill. The 3 boys sat side by side for a few minutes taking in the view.